Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to our NCAA Metro's College universe. And yeah, that's right. We are on the old Xbox 360, and we're actually on NCAA 14. We've actually shot up ahead. How we are actually on a different game, but we are in the same universe. I'm just switching it over to NCAA 14. And let me just fix this real quick. You may hear the Xbox in the background. It's really old and it's very loud, but I think it's going to be better to be on here nonetheless. But you guys let me know. How do you like the NCAA 06 gameplay compared to this? And maybe I'll go back if the other one is better. But I just figured this is more modern graphics, more harder hitting, and also we can see a little more of the players kind of stand out if we go to this format. And so this is season number 4, and season number 4 has finished, and I am still the head coach of Kansas State, and you won't believe it, we finished 10-3 this year, and we did end up unfortunately losing our bowl game to Louisville in a very tough matchup. 2 years now in a row where we've lost our bowl game, this one by 3. It just stings because this year was actually our most successful year. We were even in the talk for possibly a national championship title run, but we ultimately we lost a few games, and it ended up just coming up short. Now, here's some highlights from our bowl game. I want to show you guys a little more gameplay in this episode of part 1. And so, yeah, here's the gameplay.
Nice run, and he's brought down. And he's sacked.
Man, it's an offensive lineman. This is the worst thing that you want to see.
Is up a field goal. Touchdown, Cards. Field, and they hope to have the same success they had on their last drive. He's scrambling. He's to the 40, and he's tackled at the 45-yard line.
Hey, sometimes the defense does everything right, and they still lose. That's
a great tackle at the 4-yard line. Finds his receiver, touchdown.
Both teams should be proud of their effort.
Here's a look at our player of the game. EA Sports will donate $10,000 in his name to his school's General Scholarship Fund. For the Cardinals, they just keep winning in what has been a great year for them. And for Kansas State, this loss will put a damper on what's been a great year.
So those were the highlights anyways, should I have said. There was also one more game that we already... So some of these games aren't simulated, but there was another one I wanted to simulate. And the reason I did was because these two teams were the runner-ups, man. They came so close to having a chance at the national championship title this year. And that was Ohio State and USC. Now, Ohio State is ranked 8th, but they were literally ranked second before their championship loss, and they fell all the way down to 8th. So they were going to be in the national championship game and lost, and it really stung. And then they ended up coming here to play USC, who was right there as well, so close but yet so far away. And ultimately, they ended up having a fantastic game that went into overtime. Here's some highlights from that game.
He's at midfield. Inside the 30. The 10. And he will score. And off to the left. He fights forward to about... Quick throw, incomplete, wanted his receiver.
Jackson, the intended...
Down! Oklahoma! On three. Motion.
Now he's scrambling. And they make the stop around the 32-yard line.
Set, Oklahoma!
That tackle just sealed the deal. Ohio State's out of timeouts. It's up. We're going to OT. There's a strike complete. And down he goes at the 9.
How about the big fellas up front? This line will have to continue to play like that to build the consistency to help this offense be effective.
Setting up blockers or running backs. Got it on the screen. That's the end of the ball game, and our final score in this one, Ohio State 30, USC 27. As we finish up the broadcast, what do you have to say about how this game turned out, Kirk?
This is exactly what we expected, isn't it? Two very closely matched teams and a full...
And there you have it. So this character first, this guy looks so intriguing to me, not necessarily in just the passing game, but in the running game. Could we see Serge Harrison actually play running back? I think he could do either one, but I definitely think he could probably do running back a lot better in the pros. We'll see, though. Maybe he doesn't want to play running back, and I don't know, but interesting character nonetheless. Hopefully he can get into the national championship game next season to get into the eligible NFL eligible class. But we'll see. So if you guys don't know how this works, to become MFL eligible, you have to play in the national championship game. So these highlights that I'm showing you now aren't really necessarily to get any film. It's just to show you the teams and players that came so close to possibly being eligible for the MFL. But maybe next year they could have another shot. I don't know. USC has been in the national championship already twice since the series has been underway, and they were so close to having a third. But let's move down to the teams that actually made it, and it's the Oklahoma Sooners in it for the second time in the series and in their dynasty history here on the channel. Now, they lost the first ever national championship title against USC. We have a new team that also punches their ticket, and that is Alabama. Crimson Tide for the first time ever punching their ticket. Now, I wanted to take a look at these teams if we can. It doesn't look like we're going to be able to. Alrighty, so first up, I wanted to take a look at Alabama, actually, because it's very intriguing and very interesting, their kind of story here. This is 4 years into the series now, and they finally punched their first ticket. It was just a matter of time, but they finally do it. And it's funny because they started off rocky, 0-2. It was the last time Alabama started 0-2. You know what I mean? They lose to Virginia Tech and Texas A&M. Then they go on a run where they end up just dogging every single team, not even close at all in any of these games. They go on their bye. They beat LSU in overtime. They put a goose egg on the scoreboard for Mississippi State, shutting their offense down completely, winning by 30. Then they dog a no-named school 62-7 like they should, beat Auburn easily, have a bye, dog walk Florida in the SEC championship. And so it was funny because, let me just put it to you guys this way. They are not, at this point of the year, they were not in the national championship game. They needed a team to lose, and that was Ohio State. And Ohio State ended up losing their championship game, as where Alabama ended up winning. And it shot Alabama up to the number 1 spot. And literally a week before the game, they were announced to be in the national championship title. Now, I know this says BCU or the BCS, but we are role playing this, that this is the national championship game as it is. And yeah, so anyways, that leaves us to now look at Oklahoma. So now we look at the story of Oklahoma, and it was a little bit different. You know, they started off, they beat some smaller schools, some tough competition nonetheless, and they kind of struggle against Tulsa. Now, I was not looking at Oklahoma like this. I think Oklahoma really surprised a lot of people here this season. Not many eyes on them, you know, and then when they started to possibly get eyes on them, they end up losing to Texas, a team that finished in the top 10. They end up losing in a very close game, but they bounced back, and I think they beat teams enough, and we're not even going to talk about this as, yeah, they kind of embarrassed us. This was a game if we win this game, we could be in the national championship, but we weren't even close. It was 52-35. I do think that Oklahoma is still the underdogs in this game. I don't think the teams that they beat were as impressive. And, you know, I think Oklahoma has taken a step back. But, I mean, 4 years, two national championship appearances. Can they come away with a win here today? You know, I don't know. I think Alabama is the better team here. But Alabama, with that being said, Alabama barely made it into this game as well. And so taking a look at, you know, more in depth of the game, this is one thing I really like about this NCAA. We kind of get a breakdown here. And basically Alabama is better in every single category besides the rush offense, which isn't far off. So again, you kind of can see where I stand on this. Moving over, we kind of already seen the schedules for both teams. So again, I do think Alabama, in my opinion, I'm going to go ahead. The Metro selection is, I have Alabama winning this game. I do think it could be close, but ultimately I think Alabama is a better team here. They beat a lot better teams on their way to get here. Now, looking at the Heisman winner, I'm actually not sure who it is. It's none other than Serge Harrison. And he's a junior, so listen to me. Okay, look, I would love to see this guy in the NFL, but this is the thing. He's got to at least make it to the national championship. I mean, these Ohio State players were crying tears when they lost that final game because they knew they weren't going to have a chance. But he's a junior, so we could see him stay and play another year, and he has another chance to make it to the national championship title game. I would love to see this guy. I think he's going to be a massive player in the pros if he can just get some. I mean, look at the trophy case. He just needs a national championship appearance, and we will be considering to throw him into the next Madden 24 franchise. He's gotta get to the big game though, you know. So we'll see. He looked very dominating though in that game. So let's go ahead. We're gonna finally do a breakdown now of the two teams, and yeah, let's start off with Alabama, the team I think it's gonna win. We do have, I believe, a subscriber on this team, but we're gonna talk about who is MFL eligible. Obviously, they all are, but we're more focused on the older players. You know, like the freshmen and sophomores and stuff like that. We're not really focused on them. But I'm gonna just kind of highlight some key players here for you guys to to keep your eyes on when you're out there on the field watching this big game. And that, number one, is Joe Henderson. He's a senior, so this is his only chance to prove that he deserves to be in the MFL, to prove that he deserves to be in the pros. So all eyes will be on Joe Henderson, the senior. He had a pretty solid year, winning the O'Brien Award. He threw for 39 touchdown passes and only 2 interceptions. You can seriously count on one hand how many interceptions Joe Henderson has thrown. He's a old-fashioned pocket quarterback. He's not going to do anything too flashy here in tonight's game, but what he will do is throw dots, and he will throw them consistently, and that's pro-worthy in my opinion. So I think he's going to have a lot of success. A subscriber's actually starting behind him. A Marion King, who is a junior. He was redshirted junior though, so I don't know if this year counted for him or not, but if it didn't, either way, he's going to have his senior year. Hopefully, yeah, you never know. Maybe we even get to see him play some today. He's going to be, I'm sure locked and loaded and ready if his number gets called upon. He is MFL eligible. We'll see how much playing time he gets, and hopefully next year Alabama's right back in this game again, and we can really get to see him shine. Moving over to the running backs, though, we got Ralph Shelton. Now, this guy's a sophomore. Same with Chandler Clayton. Not too much focus on these guys, but, I mean, it's a running back. I think just because he's a sophomore doesn't mean anything. He's going to be out here trying to prove that, yeah, hey, I am just a sophomore, but I deserve to be in the pros as well. And if I never get back to this national championship game again, you're going to look back at this game here and remember why I deserve to be in the pros. So we'll kind of be watching out for him. Not, he's a sophomore, though. We also got another sophomore, Ab Tyson. We're not going to be focused too much on him, but we will be focused on Matthew Smith, number 7. Matthew Smith is a senior, so this is his one shot right here to try and get into the pros. Also, keep your eyes out on Mike Walker, number 2. Moving over to the tight ends, you got Russell Whitlock. He's a junior. Keep your eyes out for him. Moving over to the left ends, Joe Hayes is a junior, so he's got like 2 more years, but we'll be keeping an eye out on him, number 8. But more importantly, MFL eligible for sure, Mark Willis, senior. This is it. He's had such a dominating time with them. Only 2.5 sacks on the quarterback, though, so it's now or never for him. Either he has an outstanding game here today, or he may just slip away and not even be drafted. He's going to have to leave it all on the line here. Mark Willis, he's got to stand out and stand out big here tonight if he wants to make it to the MFL. Moving over for DTs, not really anybody. It's a lot of younger guys. We will be watching for Will Swan, but he is a junior, so he is, got time. Not necessarily, but keep our eyes out on him for him. J.R. Johnson, Jr. Keep your eyes out on him. And a guy who has again kind of struggled to get to the quarterback when he's asked to, but 2 interceptions, and he took one of them back to the crib. He's also a heavy hitter. He's just very aware. He knows where the ball is going at. Standing at 6'6", he can kind of just snatch it out of the air. And he is a big threat for just getting to the ball. So keep your eyes out on him. MFL eligible here tonight, so he's going to be playing hard, as I'm sure everyone else will be as well. Next up, Lynn Fowler. He is a senior now, so that means this is his last chance to prove he deserves to be in the pros. Can he make it? He's got to really shine here today. This is their top star on the whole roster, a lot of people say. And he's a tackling machine. We'll see what he can do, man. 38 total tackles. We'll keep our eyes out on him. And then there's Ronnie James as well, but keep your eyes out for number 32, Lynn Fowler. All right, we got another junior here, Brandon Mosby. Keep your eyes out for him. But mostly Lynn Fowler. So then we get to the cornerbacks, and we have another subscriber as well here. But first, Nate Holmes. This is, again, another senior. This is it, his last chance, MFL eligible. He's going to really want to prove to the scouts he deserves to be in the pros. Standing at 5'11", 179. He needs to put on a little bit of weight. Some people are worried that he's too small in size. You know, we'll see. Then there's Grant Triplett, another senior who wants to prove himself, only having 1 interception, but 9 pass deflections and breakups. A forced fumble, which he recovered himself. He is a pretty good guy as well, so keep your guys out for 10, 13, and then we have a sophomore. So he's not MFL eligible here. He's still got plenty of college play left to do, but Troy Glover looks to try and get his name on the radar here today. At 6'2", 224, he's one of the bigger corners on Alabama's roster. Now at free safety, we have Josh Horn, MFL eligible here. Free safety, he's looking to try and make a name for himself. And then we have Chauncey Barnett. So that's Alabama's squad, and I do think that they are the better guys. Also, there is another kicker that is eligible here in it, Kevin Ingram, the senior. And we've yet to see any kickers really make it worthy of even, being in a draft stock. But maybe he can change that. Maybe he can have a very good performance here today and try and lock himself into the pros. And so that takes us over to Oklahoma. And unfortunately, sad news, Ray Washington, who was their starter, he is a junior. He is out. He's not going to be playing today, which is really going to hurt, because, he's probably not going to make it to the pros. Unless they can somehow make it again next year. He was a big quarterback, 6'6", 254. It would have been fun to watch him. He did struggle with interceptions, though, and I don't know. I don't think he is really a guy who is pro-worthy. But then all eyes turned to the senior, Adrian Bowman, who, when he took over, kind of struggled as well. And he is another a quarterback who, has a lot to prove here in today's game. 6'5", but way smaller of size at 226. So almost like the perfect kind of size that you would want. But he does struggle with interceptions and completion percentage. So we're going to keep our eyes on him for rushing, decent rushing. I don't know, man. He's a wild card. We're going to have to see. He is MFL eligible. So if he has a good game here tonight, possibly could see him go to the pros. I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see how he plays. Next up, MFL eligible Jake Terry. This guy at 6 foot, 208. Just under 1,000-yard mark. 9 rushing touchdowns. Keep our eyes out for him now. He does have a tad bit of fumbling problems, so we'll keep our eyes out for number 26. He is MFL eligible, though, tonight. Moving over to the wide receivers. And honestly, Oklahoma's roster is completely different than Alabama's. It's nothing but seniors, really, as they got Bradley Jordan and Tim Love, who are MFL eligible. So number 16 and number 81. Keep our eyes out for them. At tight end is a freshman. So they have 2 true freshmen starting today, which is kind of interesting. And Ernest Charles is one of them. So moving over to the defensive line. Got John Smith there. And Cole. And then some sophomores here. A sophomore and a junior. And then here was another true freshman starting, but he did take an injury. And that was Dustin Webb. And so now it is sophomore Justin Jackson. Actually, a younger squad. I might have them mixed up, actually. It was the opposite. Alabama is like the older team, and the Sooners are the younger team here. So all these guys are not really MFL eligible yet. They got a lot of college play. So we're not really focused on them too much. Not to say that if they have an outstanding game here today that it's, not going to help them. But it's just more focus on the older guys, as this is their last chance here. And so that leads us to their defensive captain here, Eric Coker. All eyes on this guy. He is MFL eligible, and he is a senior, so this will be his last chance. Now, this is a guy who finished off the year with 5.5 sacks, with 4 interceptions and 10 pass breakups. He is a beast. What else can you really say about the 6'1", 219? Like, it's weird because he's definitely too small, in my opinion, to go to the pros and have success as an outside linebacker. But could you see this guy? Is there any room for him to possibly switch over and play corner? I look at him and I think there is. I'm actually surprised that Oklahoma is playing him on the outside the way they are. Though he's having success with it, I do think he would shine even more if he was playing that corner position. Maybe he's a tad bit too tall to play corner, but I don't think so. I think he's at the tallest height that you would probably want. Maybe even think about playing him at safety, but I do think he has the speed to play corner. But we're going to keep our eyes out for him nonetheless. And then it takes us over to the cornerbacks. Here we got Early Hines, Lee Starks, who are both MFL eligible here today, 14.99. Last chance to impress the scouts here. Also keep your eyes out on Omar Clayton, number 22. Moving over to the safeties, you got Roddy Dunbar, the junior, and then starting true freshman Joe Brown will be playing. So that now you can kind of understand why my pick is Alabama to win this game, because Oklahoma is just such a very young team. I'm surprised that they even made it this far. They hadn't really beat too many big schools like Alabama did. And so it's just going to be very interesting, I think, to see this matchup. I have Alabama winning, but you guys let me know, who do you think is going to win? And as of right now, I think that's going to do it here. The next matchup will be the Season 4 National Championship. We've seen many names come, and many names are going to be in the draft pool for Madden 24 franchise. What will be the next set of names that have a chance to go? We're going to find out here tonight who has a very good showdown and, well, who maybe looks like a bust. I have Alabama winning this one, though. You guys let me know, who do you have? And until next time, I'll see you on the next one.